Go ahead.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Not a Trekkie, an all Star Wars Everything podcast brought to you by Red Cyclone Inc. Everything from New Hope to Rogue One, even that Solo one, from Anakin and Obi-Wan to Rey left being the only one now. I cannot stress this anymore. There is no hate. This ain't Stargate, this ain't Star Trek, this is Star Wars. I'm your host, Tenacious T. My partner in crime for this podcast, the Merc with the Mic.
What is going on, guys? We are back for Not a Trekkie. It's been a while.
Yeah, no, well, we did one last month. You know what I mean?
So it's been a while.
It's a monthly podcast,
Yep.
and we're stringing it to the threshold of the line. We've had a lot of stuff going on this month.
A lot. So if you haven't listened to any of our other casts, we do have a Shell Shock podcast. We have a Morphin Cast, and we also have the Game of Rage podcast. All have new episodes. Game of Rage will go up tomorrow. So
you also got to understand that the Morphin Cast is actually technically two casts.
Yeah, it's a long
because
one.
it is the morphing of Power Rangers in America, and at the same time followed up by Super Sentai in Japan.
Yes.
It is technically two casts.
It's a lot of work. There's a lot of work and a lot of watching stuff. So basically,
a lot of drinking too.
And a lot of drinking in between, because these things, some of these shows makes us drink. So it's a little bit of both.
Sometimes you got to get through it. Like I will definitely say that today's episode of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, right? This was a drinking worthy movie.
Yes, it was.
I did not drink during it because I wanted to make sure that because this is, I can say it from the beginning. It's probably one of my least favorite Star Wars movie out of all the Star Wars galaxy that we have engulfed ourselves in as of this moment in time.
Yeah, I agree. So the movie in hand that we're talking about is Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi.
Yes, Episode 8.
This came out. This hunk of doo-doo. No. This movie came out. Where was it?
It's like diarrhea.
December 15th, 2017. It did good. Actually, this is one of the lowest box offices for a Star Wars movie.
Well, all Star Wars movies make their money, so.
But this one had the least. This one had the lowest box office sales.
Yes, because the ratings when it first came out, and people were talking about it, like, wow.
It looks like doo-doo.
I should have waited till I saw that on Exodus on Fire Stick.
Word, I felt the same way.
But thanks to Disney Plus, we got to watch it with our just regular, subscription. So
I'm just curious on what movies came out that year that kind of. All right,
shadowed, that fucking triumphed over this.
So the movie I think triumphant over this, and I think had a really good run in theaters. Thor: Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, and that was one of the best Marvel movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared to like Infinity War and Endgame, which are probably in their own league when it comes to Marvel movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is a accumulation of so many movies.
Yeah.
You know, the build up. Where Thor Ragnarok was just a standalone badass movie, you know what I mean?
So this was a crowded year. I think 2016.
Didn't Galaxy 2 come out this year too?
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Thor Ragnarok, Wonder Woman, and Logan.
But Wonder Woman was badass too.
Yeah, Logan was.
And Logan was good too. Even though I saw it once, it still was good.
You have Coco, John Wick, and Justice League.
Coco made me almost cry, bro.
Yeah.
I think Coco might have been the movie of the year for me, man, because I don't get in my feels like that, but Coco did it to me.
Yeah, Justice League also came out, and Lego Batman, which I think is the best DC movie ever.
And you absolutely despise the Justice League movie.
I hate
this. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been trying to find the best in things. The worker with the mic over here will just shit on it. Like, fuck that, it sucks.
Yep.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for the crowds. You know what I mean?
I'm not. I'm not gonna fake like something. I'm just gonna tell you
I
like
just
it
try
is.
and go into things as with a childlike kind of feel. You know what I mean? Like a kid is not going to understand. I mean, me as a child, I paid attention to a lot of shit. So I can speak for other kids out there. Like me, I analyzed a lot of shit because I've watched it a million times. You know what I mean? So, like, I knew scenes, I knew lines, I knew quotes, I knew it all. You know what I mean? So I probably would have judged it, but, you know, like, off a childlike innocence, you know, it's still fun. You
This
know
is
what I mean?
what we do, though.
This is what we do as adults. You know what I mean?
This is part of the podcast. We give a verdict to these movies, so I'm not gonna be nice. If it's good, it's good. I admit it's good, but this one was not so good. So basically, this one's gonna be an interesting cast.
It's gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun cast.
Yeah. So 2017 was a little packed. I think one of the last of the last 10 years. I think 2016 was the biggest. Was like the biggest year of movies.
What, of like the 2010s?
Yeah, the 2010s. 2016, I think it was the biggest year of movies.
What was it? That was
Civil War, Deadpool.
Yeah, Civil War. Yeah, Deadpool.
Zootopia, Batman vs Superman. Even though that wasn't the best movie, but it made its money.
Of course it did, man. Yeah. I mean, it was a money chase, really. That's all it was.
Yeah,
a premature money chase that wasn't needed.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit, yeah, this sucks. Fuck.
Oh, Marvel's kicking our ass.
Yeah.
But one thing that will always sell is Star Wars. That's a given. Anything that's marked with a Star Wars logo on it, that has Lucasfilms on it.
You know what's funny though? Like, Star Wars declined. The Last Jedi declined. The last movie that came out, the last movie they made declined. It didn't make the money that it used to. So Star Wars is declining, but who knows? Maybe Mandalorian kind of saved it and got it refreshed in people's hearts now.
Man, I talk to people who watch The Mandalorian and don't even realize it's a fucking Star Wars show.
And that's I think that's what makes it so strong, is the fact that you don't have to be a Star Wars fan to get into it.
Nah, most of the women that I talk to all just watch it because of Baby Yoda.
Damn right. Well, he has a name now.
That last episode was crazy.
He has a name now. I don't like his name.
Gorgle.
Yeah, Gorgle.
I don't know. Well, he's Baby Yoda, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be Baby Yoda for life.
It's gonna be Baby Yoda forever.
So it's interesting that you see that. But anyway, 2017 was a crowded year. So basically, this is also within the craziness of that year. And I think Thor Ragnarok went off the box office for 1 week. Then Star Wars came out and went right back to the top of the box office the following week.
Well, I don't even think I saw Thor Ragnarok in the movie, so
I love that movie. That movie was fun. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into our topic, The Last Jedi.
Yes, run through the roll screen.
Yeah.
As you do for every cast.
Yeah, let me get the fuck out of you. I had it up too, and then it's just like I was looking for something else. Last Jedi screen. We had some like new fucking little animals in this movie that look like. I just saw like product placement because they want to sell those damn penguins.
Well, they always have. They always have a big monster, and they always have a small, cute thing.
Yeah, and that was it.
It's kind of like their thing. Chewie ate one of them. And he looked at him. He's like, "No, you're eating my girl."
Yeah, yeah, I love Chewie. Chewie's one of my favorites.
He wasn't utilized at all in this movie, though.
No, and that's something that made me sad. I was like, damn. I could have done a lot.
He was in like 3 scenes.
Yeah.
If I counted correctly.
Yeah. Fucking A. But yeah. There you go. Alright, so this is the opening crawl for The Last Jedi. The First Order reigns, having disbanded the peaceful Republic's supreme leader Snoke now deploys his merciless legions to seize military control of the galaxy. Only General Leia Organa bands of resistance fighters stand against the rise tyranny, censored that self-proclaimed Master Jedi Luke Skywalker will return and restore a spark of Hope and fight.
You have
But the
such a
resistance,
problem with Luke Skywalker.
but the resistance has been exposed as the First Order speeds towards the Rebel base. The brave heroes mount and desperate escape. And that is it. And no, it's self-proclaimed Jedi Master. He is not a Jedi Master. Get that straight.
Yoda kind of confirmed in this movie that he is a Jedi Master.
He forgot.
But it's okay. He forgot.
He forgot. He fell asleep before
Yoda
he declared.
came back as a blue ghost and was like, "Yo, Jedi."
Like
All
Jedi
right.
Master. I told you that.
Let's. I did. I don't recall this.
I don't recall this. I remember falling asleep and you just
Was I dying at the time? I'm pretty sure I died because you wouldn't shut the fuck up. Like, shut up! I'm trying to rest. He said, "Let me die." I was laughing my ass off last night thinking about that. Actually, he's like, "Just shut the fuck up and let me. I gotta die. That's it. I'm just gonna die.
That's everyone's gonna die.
You fucking bugged the shit out of me. You can't fucking hover rocks. You suck."
Yeah.
But all right. So right now, what's going on? Obviously, a majority of this movie. So we start off with like some type of like scene going on, a battle scene, some type of action scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it goes to like a destroyer going up to this planet, and it's like Snoke right from the beginning. So like we had the hint of Snoke in the first movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We saw like a projection of him and stuff like that, but we never actually really understood it. You know what I mean? So General Hux is sitting there, and Snoke is telling them to go destroy everything on the planet, kill everybody, da da da. You know what I mean? Let's kill the rebel scum, all that crap. So we have, this huge. It always starts off with this big ass destroyer or some type of big contraption.
Yeah.
And it's just this one single X-wing just standing there, and of course it's Poe Dameron. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is the best fighter pilot in the Resistance. Well, at this point in time, they've killed so much, he's probably one of the only few fighter pilots.
He's the best, though.
He's the best of what's left.
He's still the best.
I'm pretty sure there was probably some good ones that just died early because some people were stupid. But, so, you know what I mean? He got close enough where they weren't able to shoot him. So what he ended up doing was swooping through and blowing up all the grenades and like cannons and stuff like that. But what was funny was General Hux is sitting there talking to him. He has this big speech. So it started off with just a straight funny crack. Which one thing I realized of what the Star Wars movie has been doing, they've been trying to add a lot of comedy into it, like quick one-liners and stuff like that. So this was pretty funny. He calls up Cameron, Poe, and he's like, I will destroy you, I will do this, I will do that. And Poe's just like, hello? Is somebody there? Is anybody there? And then he just restarts again, and he's like, all right, I guess I'll hold. You know what I mean? He was just fucking with him. But he was buying enough time so he can get close so the cannons can't shoot him down. So that was part of the plan. So what ended up happening was they had this big plan to come in, swoop in, blow up all the shit, and once all that happened, it gave the Resistance time to get the fuck away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they got off the planet and they evacuated the planet before they started shooting the whole shit up. So we got Princess Leia, well, not Princess, General Leia, telling Poe, all right, it's time to go. Let's retreat. Let's fight another day. Poe's like, no, fuck that. We got a chance to destroy them right now. Let's go. And she's like, no, get away. And then he turns his mic off. You know what I mean? And then he just starts a whole big, pretty dope. All the fighting scenes. You can't deny the fighting scenes. They're put together very well. They end up, destroying a whole bunch of the Resistance bombers. And then it came down to this one girl who ended up dropping the bombs and ended up blowing it all up. You know what I mean? So they ended up destroying it, and that's basically the opening scene. That's what it is. Snoke is mad at Hux, and tosses him around like a little fucking baby.
Yep, yells at him.
And so we got Poe who comes in and he goes and talks to Leia, and Leia's fucking fuming at him, like,
yeah,
you did not, went against a direct order. But he was like, yo, like, we need to fight. You need to fight. You need to bring it to him. We can't run away. Da da da. We won this battle. There's heroes out there. She was like, yeah, but there's dead heroes out there now. You know what I mean? Like, you need to start listening to me. I demote you from whatever he was. He was a corporal to a captain?
Yeah.
Or something like that. You know what I mean? So, like, it just shows that, you know, Poe is starting to get a little ahead of himself. Which, I don't blame him, you know what I mean? Sometimes you got to take the fight to them, but at this time, the Resistance, man, they're like, you know what I mean? They're like...
I understand him, like, seizing the opportunity that they barely get. So, like, if he sees the opening, he should take it. Yeah,
but it just destroyed almost their entire fleet.
Yeah, fuck it.
So they killed one big thing. As we know, the First Order has so much army.
They don't
in
know
space.
how many they have. They have like a planet full of these things, like just like getting made.
They just sit and hover. But that's neither here or there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, so like that's happening, and then Finn wakes up out of this, and they never discussed this, but he was in like this cryogenic thing filled with water or whatever, and then he wakes up, and he's leaking water, and like they never explained why. Like, so straight from the jump, it was just like, what the fuck is going on with Finn?
There's a lot of things. All right, so this is something I'm going to say clearly, and this is going to go out to the whole movie and like that. Finn was a non-existent character in this movie.
Finn sucked.
He was in the movie,
Finn.
but everything he did was no point in there was just nothing. No story development, no nothing. Just him there panicking and running, pretty much.
Yeah, well, basically reviving what he did best in the first movie.
But it wasn't. At least, like, see, we talked about this in Force Awakens, and I think that was one of the things that we kind of wanted to see off of Finn, is maybe he become like Force sensitive and things like that, and that's something that we never got. And I feel like he was one of those characters that you thought he was gonna become in that sense.
Yeah, he became like a filler.
He became
like a side character. Like this movie definitely shined more on two specific characters more than 100%. Anybody. You know what I mean?
Well, name of it is Last Jedi, so yeah, it was like.
Of course.
It kind of hints where it's gonna be aiming at.
So after that whole big scene, you know, Finn wakes up and he's like, "Oh, it's like, where's Rey? You know, we gotta find Rey." So now we flash to Rey, where it literally takes right off after The Force Awakens, where she sees Luke Skywalker on this planet that, you know, they were looking for him, and then she finally found it. So she's, you know, she hands him the lightsaber, and he just takes it and fucking tosses it away, like, fuck this piece of metal. You know what I mean? And walks away. She picks it up. You know what I mean? She's like, "You have to help me. Da da da. Leia sent me here." He was like, "You're a fool for coming here." You know what I mean? And he literally goes inside, hiding inside his hut, and then all of a sudden, dome. The fucking door gets knocked down, and it's Chewie. And so, boom, this is the first time we got to see Chewie and Luke Skywalker in the same scene in like 4 decades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is a pretty memorable scene to me.
Yeah, that's cool. Then we got into a little disturbing scene within that time of him taking the milk out the nipple of the damn fucking sitting ass, the fucking beast that was just sitting down, and he just like sucked the nipple and then fucking pulled the more. That was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Well, if you know the history of Star Wars, they have a big problem with drinking colored milk from fucking creatures.
I was like,
you know, it started off as blue milk, and now this one was green. It was green
this shit
milk.
looked like a pimple. It looked like he popped a pimple and then he sucked the juice out. It was disgusting.
I felt like it went down like alcohol, because he like cringed when he drank it, but he still drank it anyway.
Oh yeah, because
you know
usually like that kind of milk is just sour.
Yeah, I mean that was straight out of some big ass monster's 4 nipples. You know what I mean?
Exactly. He just walks around and just like takes milk off of nipples and that.
Like, you don't even ask. You don't even ask.
There's no like, hey, how you doing?
Can you sterilize the nipple, please? Obviously, I'm fucking lactating for a reason. Probably just had kids and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
oh man,
fucking wipe the nip down, buddy. You know what I mean?
That shit was
disgusting.
Nasty. I found that scene disgusting. I was like, ugh, that was nasty.
But it's like, that's another thing that I didn't really care about when it came to like this series of movies. Don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed all this series of movies to an extent, but they really tried to stretch the lore of what we've seen in the past. You know what I mean? We didn't need to see that.
Yeah.
But that was just a nod to the first movie. That was a nod to A New Hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, for all Star Wars, nerds out there, they know exactly what the fuck it is. You know what I mean?
It's a nipple.
So, yes, it's a nipple. So now now she, that whole big scene that happens, and then we flash back over, because it's always a back and forth thing. It's never just one continuous thing. There's multiple shit going on in the universe at every time. So now we have a meeting with Snoke and Hux.
Yep.
And then Kylo comes walking in. So basically Hux just got his ass reamed out. And Kylo comes in.
This is the first time we actually see like Snoke in full glory in his golden pajamas.
How tall would you say he was?
He's like 7 foot.
No, he was like 15 feet tall, bro.
15 feet tall. Wait, where are you getting his space pajamas? Who's making his clothes?
Well, I have a theory about this, okay? They're Supreme Leaders. They do a lot of Force shit. If I'm forcing things in this world, I want to be as comfortable as fucking possible. I don't want denim jeans in space. I want to be loose and limber, okay? You never know when you're in anti-gravity, okay?
Yeah, the older you get, the older evil you get, the less pants you wear.
I want maximum comfortability at all times.
Like the Emperor, he had no pants. He was like, fuck it.
If he had to go pee, all he had to do is move his cape out the way, and he was good to go.
Fucking the Emperor was pretty much free balling that. So it goes in stages. You wear the robotic suit, and then you get older. You start wearing the pajamas, and then you get older, and you just wear a muumuu for the rest of your life.
Next thing you know, you're wearing a diaper, and then it's time to go.
It's like just free balling. He's free balling. He shit anywhere and just like hides it with the cape.
Dukaka. He's the Dukaka of the Star Wars.
Him and his golden.
So now we start getting into a conversation with Snoke and Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Right? So, now this is the first time that they've seen each other since that epic moment where Kylo Ren killed his father, Han Solo. Yeah. Which was such a dramatic scene. It was filmed so nice. It was shot well. I remember the lighting like it was yesterday. You know what I mean? It was just... So, Snoke is sort of sensing him out. You know, they're like, how do you feel about this? You know what I mean? He's like, I don't feel anything about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, you did something that was so important to us, and we appreciate it. Now he starts egging on the fact that, you have potential to be the next Darth Vader. You know what I mean? Which Kylo Ren has this ego thing where he wants to be his grandfather. You know what I mean? When in reality, he doesn't master at everything if he just stopped living in that shadow of Darth Vader. He could have been more of a badass if he never tried to amount himself to that. You know what I mean? I felt like that's one of his flaws, but that's also that's Ben. You know what I mean? That's Ben's part of Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Where he never felt like he was part of it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he feels he has potential, but he's like, you're not ready. You know what I mean? And Kylo's like, I gave you everything. He's like, all I am dedicated to is the fucking dark side. You know what I mean? He's like, I sense your father's heart in you. He's like, I fucking killed him. You know what I mean? And then he starts bringing up the girl, and every downfall to every fucking powerful man is a fucking woman. I'm sorry. Behind every strong man is a powerful woman, but behind every fucking powerful man is a woman bitching. Okay? So... He started flipping out because he was like, you're being held back by the fact that this woman is actually more powerful than you are, and she showed it. She in the first movie she was an infant compared to the sorcery of the Force. You know what I mean? And she literally ran into it, guns blazing, and whooped his ass. You know what I mean? So it's like. Then he gets called a child, and he leaves off and has one of his temper tantrums.
His many tantrums.
Where he shatters his helmet.
Which he's
now his face is all fucked up because if you remember, he got his ass whooped.
Yeah, it looks like he has electrical tape on his face.
Well, they graphed it. It was graphing. But it looked like nanotech graphing.
Yeah.
You know what I
mean? They got better with technology.
So now we flash back to Rey and Luke, and she's explaining to Luke about Kylo Ren, and that you know what I mean, and that Luke, you need to come. Like, Leia sent me here. You are the only fucking hope. So Luke starts going down, the history of the Jedi. Like, yo, the one thing you need to learn about the Jedi is that they meant well, but they were mostly failures. You know what I mean? Like, every Jedi that stepped forth has failed. You know what I mean? So, like, there's nothing that he could do. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to go and fight the First Order by myself.
Yeah.
Which sort of foreshadows a little bit for the future.
Yeah.
If you want to get technical. You don't know this at the time.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like,
so
to explain that we're not trying to tell you exactly what's happening in the Last Jedi. Oh, look, the last
Force Awakens.
The Rise of the Jedi. That's the next one, right?
It's Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. So we try not to show the future of the next movie. We try to just review of what we're watching and trying to watch it for the first time of how a story is going to be told.
But if we end up saying something that is future, you've had plenty of time to watch the fucking movie.
Yeah, we ain't spoiling shit. Fuck y'all. If you mad about spoilers, fuck yourself. You had
spoiler alert, motherfucker.
2017. You had at least 5 years to watch this movie and Disney Plus.
And you've been quarantined for almost an entire year. You've had plenty of time to watch The Rise of Skywalker, okay?
You can watch the whole Star Wars series in a day.
Well, no, that's kind of much.
If you're that bored and you're in quarantine, you can watch it in the whole day.
I mean, within a 24-hour basis, not like sun up to sundown kind of thing. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
But now back to the matter at hand. Okay. Yeah. So now Rey won't leave him the fuck alone. So like he goes and catches this big ass fish in some dramatic style, like Luke Skywalker style. You know what I mean? Like it's funny because every time I look at him and I'm like, I just don't see Luke Skywalker anymore.
I see a hobo.
I see the voice of the fucking Joker, man. Like that's what he took over for me. I'm sorry, but Mark Hamill, that's who you are to me.
I see Cockknocker.
Yeah, fucking Jane Silent Bob. or wasn't he the Trickster in Flash?
In Flash, yeah.
Yeah. So now Rey starts hearing voices. You know what I mean? So she's like, yo, I hear this shit coming, like this darkness coming from underneath the planet and stuff like that. So it lures her to this temple where a whole bunch of books are. You know what I mean? So now she's going to reach for this book, and then Luke Skywalker pops in, and then this is where he starts really getting the sense, okay, there's something going on with this girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She literally, like, the Force wooed her into going into that room. So it was basically the books basically were just the old scrolls from back in the day and everything, all the stupid shit. You know what I mean? And he knew, he was like, what? He knew there was something going on with her. You know what I mean? And he was like, what the fuck do you want? And she was like, why? He's like, why are you here? She was like, I've always had something inside of me, and now it's awake, and I need somebody to show me what the fuck to do with it. You know what I mean? And he's like, I will never train another Jedi again. Which already hints, boom, he already knows that she already has the powers of the Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, she's the next wave coming in.
Yeah.
And he'd rather die than train another Jedi. You know what I mean? So that was a whole big dramatic scene, which I thought was filmed pretty nice. I thought the whole scene was cool. It was needed. It shows the doubt of Luke Skywalker. You know what I mean? Even though we don't know at this time what is happening with him, of why he secluded himself, or why we even chasing him, or why there was the first movie trying to fucking find his ass, thinking that he was the answer to everything, when in reality he's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
why he's so special?
Yeah. Why are you so special?
Yeah, exactly.
But so now we flash back to Leia and Poe. This is when Leia smacks him in the face. Like, it demotes him and stuff like that. But they find out that the First Order, the First Order shows up again, and they find out they track them through light speed, which was the first time this has ever happened.
Yeah.
You have no clue of the reason why this happened. So like everything's happening, and fucking Poe's like, all right, can I blow some shit up now? She's like, yeah, go ahead. You know what I mean? But now Leia is sitting there, and this is when you start seeing something happening with her. You know what I mean? This movie becomes sort of a character built with her because you start seeing her sense things more.
Yeah.
And she sees Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren sees her too. And Kylo Ren is flying right for her ship. And you see him, he's getting ready to fucking blow the shit up. And then he hesitates. You know what I mean? He doesn't press the button. But then the whole bunch of fucking X-Wings fly by and they blow the fucking ship up anyway. You know what I mean? So, like, in my head, I was like, holy shit, fucking Princess Leia got killed. But now, tragically, unfortunately, in the real world, during the making of this movie, she did pass away.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher did pass away during the process of this. So I was like, oh shit, this is how they're gonna fucking...
No, she officially, like, she did scenes for the next movie.
They were doing that simultaneously.
Yeah. So they were filming for the next movie as well. She died. Well, she died in the ending of this and the beginning production of the next movie.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Because you remember the movies are like maybe 3 to 4, like a year or two before it comes out. So they were in production already. So this movie was made. The next one was being made. She passed away like halfway during that filming.
Yeah. So now this comes, so what they realize is that they can't use Lightspeed or they're just going to track them again. So what they do is they make sure that they're at a certain distance where they can't shoot at them.
Yeah.
Which comes one of the worst fucking scenes that pissed me off since the day I watched this fucking movie, man. It's that stupid scene with Princess Leia floating through space, and then she looks like the fucking Wicked Witch. That shit pissed, bro. Since the moment I saw that movie in the movie theaters, I was like, fuck that scene. I hated that shit so much.
Yeah, it was a bad scene.
It was so bad. She's like frozen in space. It's sort of like Quail in fucking you know what I mean, in Guardians of the Galaxy, where he starts, freezing up.
Yeah. It
was sort of like that, and all of a sudden she just opens her eyes and puts her arm out, and she just floats to the fucking ship. You know what I mean? And then she's basically all fucked up. She's in a coma and shit like that. Like it was so it pissed me off. But she drops the tracker to Rey because she had like a beacon to Rey. So Finn ends up picking that up, which is one of the few things he did in this movie. Fucking was it?
One of two things.
So
he picked up a tractor and he annoyed the shit out of me. Those are the two things he did in this movie.
I think he cried like a little bitch too at one point in time.
I was like, yo, I wish Jar Jar Binks was in this movie. Fuck this guy.
Jar Jar would have done a lot better, bro. I mean, if Jar Jar didn't speak, it would have been perfect.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So now, boom, we flash back to Luke, and Luke goes walking into the Millennium Falcon for the first time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like we have these small symbolic scenes that if you don't know the history, like it means a lot. Like for Luke Skywalker to walk back into the Millennium Falcon since Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
40 fucking years ago? 50 years ago, whatever it is.
You know what? He never went into the Millennium Falcon in Return of the Jedi. The last one he actually went into the ship was
Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back.
No, because they saved him.
Yeah, they saved him when he
so Empire Strikes Back was the last one. Yeah, that was the last time he was in the Millennium Falcon.
So, then it goes. I just always like to see because like Chewie doesn't have enough in this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was so disappointed because
it upsets me. But he's sitting there and he's eating, and these creatures are coming up trying to get his food, right? And it was one of those little penguin things that he was eating, and there was only 2 penguin things on the island when they showed up.
Yeah.
And the one is sitting there crying because he's eating his fucking meat. I felt so bad, and Chewie yells at him, right? He's like, right?
Yeah.
And then thinks about it. It's like, fuck, like I just killed this fucking poor creature's fucking thing. But Chewie's got to eat, man. You know how much that boy weighs, you know?
Oh, he got to keep his levels.
So when Luke Skywalker goes back into the Millennium Falcon, it's his first fucking time seeing R2-D2.
Yeah.
Since he put that that piece of the map in him. You know what I mean? That was the last time they saw it because they were together forever. You know, them two were like buddy. So this is the first time, and then I don't know what R2-D2 says, but he starts cursing at him. And Luke's like, yo, watch your language. You know what I mean? Like, R2-D2 was pissed.
Yeah.
I wish I knew what the fuck he said.
He said, where
You know
the
what I mean?
fuck were you? Why are you playing all this shit? You just smell like ass now.
You've been masturbating on an island for 40 fucking years. What are you doing? So like, yo, it looks like, yo, like, I'm not doing it. I'm done. I'm fucking finished. And then R2-D2 plays the original video from A New Hope.
Yeah.
From Princess Leia asking for help. You know what I mean? Which I thought was like a fucking low blow. Like, you cannot believe. Like, R2-D2, I mean, me and you can both agree that he's probably the most consistent character in every single Star Wars movie.
He's the true hero.
This guy, this machine, he is Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, you can say Han Solo this, you can say Han Solo that, you can say Chewie, you can say Luke, Princess. It's really R2-D2 that holds shit down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, so he basically convinces him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now we flash back to Princess Leia and everybody. She's basically in like a coma at this time, and now we got appointed a new like ambassador, girl, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we find out, and which I thought this was crazy. It's like she states, like, she was like, yo, there's only 400 members of the Resistance left.
Yeah.
Like, 400. The fucking First Order's got millions and millions of people all over the place. They got planets that destroy planets, bro. Well, they had.
Yeah.
They had it. But, so, like, Poe walks up to her being the Poe that he is, you know what I mean? And, she downgrades him so bad. It's like, you're just a fucking flyboy with an itchy trigger finger. Like, go stand by your post and wait for my orders. She sunned the shit out of him. My mouth dropped when I saw that. Like, I hated her. I didn't really care. What was that, Daryl Hannah that played her?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, I hated her until the end of the movie where I got it. Where they actually, like, hey, surprise, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, she was such a bitch throughout this whole shit.
Yep.
And so she played Poe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Finn, what does Finn do? What is he famous for? What does he doesn't do in every movie? Tries to run.
Yep. He runs everywhere.
He runs. Well, he walks but runs and
He's
flies.
like Shia LaBeouf.
That's about it.
He runs from everything.
So he goes into the hangar trying to steal like an escape pod, and there's this girl, Rose, right?
Yeah.
Pops up and she like fanboys the shit out of him. She's like, "Oh my god, you're the Resistance legend." He's like, "I am not. Like, I am not nobody special." Da 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 da. But then he tried to like play it off like, "Yeah, but may the force be with you." You stupid fuck. I hate him. I want to call him by his government name. FN2187. That's it. I don't want to call him Finn no more.
Yeah.
FN2187. I'm calling you what your mama called you, motherfucker. Okay.
That's too long.
Which was Phasm. Yeah, I understand that. But you get my point. I just I actually gave him the benefit of the doubt in the first movie because I hated him in the first movie.
Yeah.
And then watching it and doing the cast on it, I finally accepted him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then this movie just made me hate him again. All over again. It's like it was all for nothing.
Yeah. He had no...
Toy with my emotions.
He had no development whatsoever. Like, this character just went downhill, and it just went downhill more and more. Like, you could have did a lot with this character, especially after Force Awakens and him holding the lightsaber and things like that. Y'all just forgot that he held a lightsaber. Y'all forgot that he was working with a Jedi and things like that. He could have caught on to things and probably been force sensitive and things like that. But they just fucked him up. And this movie was a pure thing of just fucking him up.
It was just like I felt like they just didn't know what the hell to do with him. You know what I mean? I felt like
that
they
was the
focused
problem.
more on Kylo and Rey, and they were like, "All right, let's just have him do this." That leads to this.
I feel in this movie they wanted to focus on Rey and Kylo, and did not want to focus with Rey with the other people. As in the first one, it was the bond between everyone. This one, they just wanted Rey and Kylo, and that's it. And that was the kind of the focus point of the movie, and it makes sense. But also, the people around her kind of got the second. They pretty much got the raw end of the stick of this movie.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
So now, like, this girl Rose, she like fanboys the shit out of him, but she was like, "Yeah, I've been sitting in this fucking hangar all day. I had to like I had to tase and fucking, hold in containment fucking like 12 people trying to escape the pod. And she realizes he's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
She shocks his ass, knocks his ass out. You know what I mean? Which gets him all disabled. Which I thought that scene was funny. How he's laying there, he can't move nothing. He's basically, his body went to sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so now they're sitting there talking. Now this girl's like a techie chick, like to an extent. She's probably savvy in like the ship world, probably mechanical wise, stuff like that. So they came up with, once when Finn explained to her that they are tracking them through light speed, something clicks in her head. So she's like, okay, if they're tracking us through light speed, that means there's only one ship that is tracking them.
Yeah.
And that they can reverse the pulse of it so they can get the fuck away. You know what I mean? So they come up with the idea of course, we gotta go disable something inside of a ship, which is in every fucking Star Wars movie. But, so who do they call? They call up a favorite of mine from the first movie, which was Mars.
Yeah.
Which we got her. What is she doing? She's in the middle of a fucking shootout with Union reps and shit. But she says that you have to go to this city, this basically casino city, and you have to find this hacker, because this hacker will hack the system and make sure that they were able to land without being tracked and stuff like that, so they can go inside and disable, blah, 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 blah. Same storyline, same story. One of the reasons why I dislike this movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so now that scene happens, all right? Thank God. Any scene with Finn, let's just fast forward through that shit, okay? So now we're back to Rey.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it's like she turns, and then you see a picture of Kylo, and he turns, and then they're like looking at each other.
Yeah.
And then this starts getting intriguing to me. This starts becoming like, whoa, what the fuck is happening? Because we ain't never seen anything like this. You know what I mean? We've seen people sense each other, but they are physically in contact with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she's like, they see each other, and then she just fucking shoots at him. You know what I mean?
I would too.
Like, hell yeah, I would. Fuck yeah.
Like a loop.
So,
die, motherfucker.
see, Kylo starts explaining to her what he sees. He was like, yo, do you see my surroundings? It's like, because I can't see yours, I only see you. So, like, that's interesting. Like, this is like an evolution.
Yeah.
Of like Jedi. This is like two, maybe sort of like what Luke and Leia have, sort of, in a way, just not as evolved, because they are in tune with each other. They just never knew it until later in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but maybe like, I don't know, the connection between them, the Force, maybe they were like entwined as like sort of like soulmates, kind of, in a way. You know what I mean? So she goes outside, and Luke's like, "What's wrong?" And then she lies to him and stuff like that. So and then Luke comes up to her, and he's like, "All right, this is where we're gonna start training. We're gonna start training tomorrow." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he sits her down, and he asks her what she thinks the Force is. You know what I mean? And she's like, she basically, like anybody else in the world, would think that it's fucking magical powers, that you're superhuman and stuff like that. And then he explains how, you know what I mean, everything is living, and there's a force that binds it all together. The Jedi don't have force; they manipulate force.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's like it's a cellular kind of thing. You know, it's sort of God. And I've said this in numerous casts of ours. It's sort of like a God element. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where all living beings and everything is entwined into one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he was like, all right, I need you to feel it. I need you to feel the Force. Close your eyes. Reach out for the Force. So she puts her hand out. And he taps it with that little leaf thing, right? She's like, oh my God, I feel it. She's like, hey, feel it. And he smacks her with it. He's like, yo, which is the stupid reaching comedy that they're trying to do. But I thought it was pretty clever.
Yeah.
Now, this scene to me is actually really important to me. And the reason is, when she goes back into trying to capture the feeling of the Force, this is when she really senses the dark side of the Force. And she goes right to it.
Yeah.
Like, no hesitation. You know what I mean? Like, most people were, everybody else was, like, hesitant, scared of it. She, like, ran to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Luke sensed that. He was like, you did that shit with no hesitation. Like, I don't know if I can fucking do this. It scared the shit out of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's basically it. 'Cause she was basically saying underneath the island, and then she went to it, and like I said, she scared him, and then that was that scene. But that to me is just like, sort of, I feel like this is where knowledge of something prohibits somebody. So if you train as the Jedi, and you know about the Force and the dark side of the Force, you know not to go to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know to resist the urges of it. But with her, she's like a child in this, and it's all new. She's an adult. You know what I mean? And everything is intriguing to her because it's all coming to her at once.
Yeah.
I don't blame her for running to it, nor do I think it was a bad thing that she ran to it. So she got like a sense of it, like firsthand, instead of just hearing it your whole fucking life. Because what the Jedi, they were born into it, and they were raised as it.
Yeah.
So anybody later in life, which we learned from Anakin Skywalker himself, Darth Vader, is that after a certain age, you are prone to feelings, you're prone to things that can draw you to the dark side.
Yeah.
So, like, her childlike essence, sort of, like, gave her a crash course of what that was.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really big scene. You know what I mean? It just shows you that if you put something in your head that something is bad, you're going to know that it's bad. But if you go and figure it out for yourself, it actually makes you sort of more powerful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just thought that was really cool. I don't know your take of it. So.
No, I agree. Like I think one thing I like into the series with Rey is the fact that she is figuring out the powers a lot more herself than, like, she's getting taught, she's getting teached, and people are teaching her in ways, but she's more about her, like, falling on her face, learning.
But they're more of just telling her, not even really teaching.
Yeah, but I think she's teaching herself and teaching her how I feel and how she would react to it. And then there's one thing I give her credit is the fact that she never kind of stopped on being her.
Doing that. Yeah, no, I think she's one of the strongest characters in Star Wars. Like, I appreciate her.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Because, like in this movie in general, like, her learning off herself and her learning feeling the dark side, but also knowing what it is and knowing how to maintain it in a way. Like, she honestly, I don't think she had dreams of it, but she hasn't never, like, touched the dark side within these movies.
Yeah, well, she did in this movie, sort of, in a way.
Not technically.
Up to this moment in time, she has not.
No.
She has sensed it because
she sensed it. She felt it.
And Kylo was telling her about it. Like, let me show you the ways.
Yeah.
It's more powerful than you'll ever be. You won't hurt. You won't do this. Like, he was saying that throughout the whole first movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, there is a spiritual connection between these two.
Yeah.
Which is luring her, either whether she knows it or not, or whether Kylo knows it or not. Kylo knows there's something going on.
But I feel it's more for her learning. It's more of a learning thing. She's just curious on where he's gonna go with it. As in, I think she has what she wants in mind already. So basically, there's no leading into her. She's gonna defend herself no matter what, even if she feels comfortable or not. If she feels like that's the way she wants to go, she's gonna go that way. But she already has an adaptation to it, I think, and I think that's what makes her strong.
Yeah, I mean, she's standalone badass. You know what I mean? Like, she definitely is, and for her to just really follow her gut, like, she's all gut instinct.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what the fuck to do. You know, like, she goes to this guy that she's never met before in her entire life, Luke Skywalker, who shits on her the second that she gets there. Like, fuck you, I don't want to teach you nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's still willing to go and, knowing the legend of him, still fight him. You know what I mean? There's scenes in this later, in this movie where she really fucking rises up and, like, really shows that she can stand on her own as a person, as a woman, and as a Jedi. You know what I mean? Not as a Jedi Knight, because let's not push that button there, right? We don't want no more proclaimed. Self-proclaimed.
Well, she considered Jedi Knight. She's just saying a Jedi Master.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah. But now it switches back into, like, Kylo's, like, paying attention to this shit, paying attention to her. He's watching her, and she's like, yo, I wonder what's connecting us. He's realizing there is something going on. You know what I mean? So now bro, I can live without this whole fucking scene. Just delete this out of Star Wars. Delete this out of my mind. Give me Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind right the fuck now. Finn and fucking Rose get to the planet. Finn is fucking so excited to be there. It's nothing but casinos, excitement, this, da-da-da. You know what I mean? And Rose is like, yeah, fuck this. Like, this place is trash. And he goes out. And then he comes to me, he's like, yo, so, like, tell me what's so wrong about this place. Like he was trying to stay there and live there.
I would have.
I mean, I would have too, but then again, that's my vices right there. You know what I mean? Those are the things that lure me to the dark side, and I've been saying it from the jump. I'd be part of the dark side before I ever been part of the light.
Yeah,
I really would.
Just be half robotic.
So, like, she explains the planet. Like, the planet is basically like it's a breeding planet for it's a place. It's sort of like Lord of War.
Yeah.
Where you're a supplier of both sides of a war. This planet only exists because of war. They're profiteers. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what they do. Everybody in there is rich off of selling weapons to both sides. The Resistance and the Republic. So, I don't know how the Resistance has any money, but that's neither here nor there.
But then, for shoulder, we don't know how they have money too, but they got money. They can build these big-ass starships.
Well, the First Order fucking robs planets, definitely, okay?
Yeah. But anyway, keep moving.
But, yeah, so, they're looking, they get in trouble, they get locked up, and then they find the hacker guy. I don't want to spend too much time with Finn, because I can't stand it. And the more and more I talk about it, and I'm reading my notes as I go, it's just, the more and more, it's just fucking stupid.
What bothers me is I like the actor. And
fucking, that's the Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
He's the fucking man, bro. He really is. So, we go back, now, that whole thing, they get in trouble, they get locked up, they find a guy. They didn't find the guy that they were looking for, but they found a guy inside of a thing.
The guy, yeah.
So we go to Rey, who's basically training herself at this moment in time, fighting, and Luke Skywalker is just like being a creepball, just watching her from afar. You know what I mean? And she decides to pick up the lightsaber and start moving around with the lightsaber. You know what I mean? And so Luke's seen this, saying, "Oh, okay, she's got some skills." She's like, let me go down. Let me tell her about lesson 2. So lesson 2 was basically about how the Jedi, his legacy is just a fail. He's like, even he was calling himself a failure. He's like, I failed. The reason why Kylo Ren is Kylo Ren, is because of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I failed him. He's like, I saw the darkness turning in him, and it had me scared. And he's like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't help him out. I had to turn my back on him.
Yo, Lucas.
You know what I mean?
Luke. I think I'll say this, and this is in general just not. I want to keep pretty long in the story, but keep going into this. But I feel Luke was such a weak character.
Well, he's beaten up, battered, and fucking...
I understand that, but you're supposed to be all Jedi Knight and shit like that. You're the scary... He was the scared of fucking everything.
But, but at the same time, we hear stories of all these grand champions, these warriors, these this, and they've had moments of humility where they really knocked down. They were knocked down and broken, and they needed something to revive them. So it's like that's sort of like a classic take, it's like sort of Shakespearean in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he did fight it more than trying to accept it. Like you got this girl, like begging you. You know what I mean? It's like fuck you, bitch. I don't even know you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why you sound like Rocky?
That's the way a little bitch sounds in my head. I'm sorry, I don't know why, but it's just the way it came out.
Yeah,
It's also these juicy IPAs I'm drinking.
I kind of got annoyed with his character in this movie. Like I was just like, he kept, you know what I think is the fact that he kept going back and forth with it and like wanting to train her and not training, and like wanting to train and not train her. I'm like, pick one, man. Like, just the movie. But other than that, like I feel like Luke himself, he was a battered guy and stuff like that. He had like that cool scene, but other than that, like he was just like he became a weak character. Like I wasn't that keen of him in this movie. I wasn't that crazy about him, like just the whole training process.
He was a shadow of him, of his former self.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But then again, he was never that dominant of a person anyway.
No, he wasn't.
You know what I mean? So it sort of does make sense that he'd be broken as an adult.
But the way people talk about him, the way people present him, they present him with this higher regard. But what I see is not.
I mean, he's got that castaway syndrome, man. He's also sitting on a fucking planet by himself.
So what?
For fucking years, that could destroy a man. You know what I mean? It's only you know what I mean? It's neither here nor there. But I agree. I do agree with you to an extent. But I can understand how powerful people can get knocked down and then have to build themselves back up.
No, I understand that part.
But it's just the fact that motherfucker.
I feel that everyone else like kind of hyped him up, and then when he got to him, he was like, "Hey, I'm this guy." Ha 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 ha. Probably like the Yoda, because I think that's how Luke Skywalker felt about Yoda when he first met Yoda.
Yoda was like, "Just let me die, please."
Like, leave me the fuck alone.
I give up my life. I just need a moment of silence.
No, that actually just reminded me. Like, he pretty much acted like Yoda.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
So, like, he literally... Oh, wow, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, like, he just... Like, I just thought about it now, too. Like, I'm really thinking about it now. Like, he did just act like Yoda.
He literally portrayed exactly what Yoda was. And Rey is exactly what Luke Skywalker was.
Yeah.
Yoda didn't want nothing to do with this shit. He was secluded on an island, which we now know is the reason why Yoda was on that island is because of everything that happened in all the prequels and stuff like that. The shit that happened with Anakin and fucking, you know what I mean? So I get that. So now it's sort of like history repeats itself.
Yeah.
The master has become, you know, the student has become the master, and the master followed in the same footsteps of the original master.
But he's not a master.
That's actually, bro. That was actually really good. I'm actually very impressed with that little insight right there.
No, I just like while talking about it, I'm just
your gears are
rewatching
turning.
No, I was rewatching the scene in my head, and I was just like, "Yo, he just act like he seriously just act like Yoda." Because in the beginning of the thing, he locked the door on her and shit like that. Yoda did the same thing to Luke too. The only thing that she didn't do she was lift the fucking spaceship.
Yeah, no, he showed how it was done. Luke didn't do any force shit in the beginning at all. Like,
no,
it's sort of like.
So he stood away from using the Force of anything because he did not want to be seen. Because the moment he uses the Force, they could track him.
There's a scene in this where she even says, she reads his head, and it's like he denounced the Jedi.
Yeah.
He denounced the power of the Jedi. So basically, he hid that. He stuck it inside of him to the point that he no longer practiced the religion of Jedi. 'Cause now Jedi is a religion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a culture. It's sort of a cult, in a way.
It's a cult.
You know what I mean?
More of a cult.
Yeah. Motherfuckers. They fucking bred kids for this shit. You know what I mean? They didn't drink the punch. That's it.
Yeah. They drink the blue milk.
I mean, that was really good, man. Like I said, I was very impressed with that insight. Because I didn't even think about that. It was so on point.
Yeah.
But now, here we go. That whole scene happened. And now we flash back to fucking Finn. Rose and fucking Benicio del Toro, whatever his name is in this fucking movie. I called him the hacker.
Can we just do his shit like fast and just get this Finn shit out of the way?
So he's like, I need money to do this shit. I don't know what to get. Let me get your necklace. She gives him the necklace. Finn doesn't like it. He uses something, gets him the fuck out. You know what I mean? And then they fucking break out and they're off the island. Boom. Yeah. That scene's over. Great scene. No, it really fucking sucked. Okay. So now we flash back to Luke. Luke's meditating. And then he's sensing. And then this is where you see, again, the connection between him and Leia. He's meditating and Leia's in a fucking coma. And then all of a sudden she wakes up and she's like, Luke. You know what I mean? And at the same time, Kylo Ren is back again with Rey connecting.
Yeah.
And, like, Rey is fucking going off. Like, why? Tell me why you fucking killed your dad. Why did you hate him so much? And Kylo was like, I didn't hate my father.
Yeah.
I did what I had to fucking do to be who the person I need to be. You know what I mean? So he was like, so Luke told you about what happened, right? She was like, yeah, you turned against him, you slaughtered everybody, and Luke, he ran away, da-da-da. He was like, no, that's not what happened. I was sleeping one night, and Luke came up to me and tried to kill me in my fucking sleep.
Yeah.
So she's like, what? What are you talking about? So she goes back out to Luke, and, she beats the fucking shit out of Luke Skywalker, bro.
Mm-hmm.
She almost chopped his ass in half with the lightsaber. Like, explain to me what the fuck happened. So he goes and tells her, he's like, I know I'm training him. And I started seeing, like, the dark side growing him. I started seeing more and more of his grandfather. And he was sleeping, and I realized it was too late for him. He's like, we've already made this mistake in the past. This has already happened. It's happened many times in the history of fucking in the Jedi world. And he's like, I got really, really scared. And at one moment in time, I was going to do it. But right before he did it, Kylo Ren woke up and looked at him, and in his eyes, he saw Kylo, which is Ben at this time, Ben Solo. He looked like a scared boy of whose master that he cared about fucking just was trying to snuff him in sleep. And that's what drew him 100% to the dark side.
Yeah.
And that's why he went and isolated himself.
Yep.
Because he failed as a master. A self-proclaimed Jedi.
That's what happens when you self-proclaim your shit. The fact that the reality shit happens and you can't handle it.
It's like, you put an ad in the paper, right? And a whole bunch of kids show up. And you don't know shit. But these kids bank off of every word that you say.
Exactly.
And then they find out from a real master that you're full of shit.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
100%. He looked at him like, look at this old man. He is soft. He's a soft motherfucker.
Yep.
But Snoke was already getting to him at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she, right after that scene, she goes down into the cave.
Yeah.
Like, she was drawn to it and started talking to her again. You know what I mean? So, Kylo Ren explained to her before is that she has all these powers. She has everything. The Jedi, the Force is strong with her. But her weakness is the fact that she cares. She cares still for her parents that fucking ditched her on Jakku. You know what I mean? So she goes down into which is like the cave in Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
The cave where you go and see yourself and stuff like that, and you see what happens. And that scene, I'm gonna be honest, man, that scene sort of wowed me a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought that was visually trippy. If I was tripping on some type of fucking hallucinogenics, that would have blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because it was truly amazing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the whole thing, the one thing that she asks for when she's looking at this image in like ice or glass, she's like, show me my parents. And then on the other side of the glass, it was her. Which it showed to her that her parents was no longer there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she's talking to Kylo again. She's like, I feel so alone. And he's like, it's not too late. So then they have that one moment, which now we have the first introduction of them two being able to see each other and connect with each other.
Yeah.
They actually reach out and physically touch each other.
Yeah.
Which now in my head, like, it blows every type of law of all this out. You know what I mean? The only type of projection that we saw was in a ghost form.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we saw that. We saw Obi-Wan. We saw Anakin at the end of Return of the Jedi. We know that the Force, you carry on and you keep going. But we never knew that in physical form you can manifest yourself to the point where you can be in two places at once, or entwined, or maybe it's just them.
And maybe it's just like it's like as the generations go by, the Force is less, but it's stronger with the younger ones.
Yeah,
they're probably a lot stronger than what the other two were. So that's why, or they're just trying to have a different visual of what the Force really feels like when you're actually interacting with them in your head.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess the mind is really powerful in that sense. You know
like, say for instance, like I think honestly the visual is not really there, but that's what they see in their head.
Yeah.
I think could be it, and that's what they want. That's kind of what they want you to see. Is what they see in their head.
Yeah, I mean, your brain makes it real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's sort of like the Matrix. Perfect example is it's like you believe it, so it's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they, maybe they're not really touching each other. Maybe they're just interacting because of it. Yeah, or there's a little kid in front of you, and you don't even know, and you're like, "Let me touch you."
Yeah.
That's just weird.
My bad.
So
you got you went a little weird.
I went a little dark side there.
Moving on.
But I was talking about Rey touching the kid, not Kylo Ren. So that's a little bit better. The little kids are like, yes.
It's still the same. Oh, it's not.
Neither here nor there. So she tells. I'm trying to get past it, okay?
Yeah.
So she tells Luke, and she also tells Kylo, she's like, they're still good at him. I can turn him. I can do this. And he's like, yo, there's no turning him back. He's gone. So she just ups and dips. And that scene was stupid because it was like in the second poem, she's in the fucking Millennium Falcon flying. Where the fuck was Chewie this entire time?
And he didn't eat the rest of the penguins either because there were two in the ship.
Well, he can't bring. Yeah, I don't know how many was on the planet, but I hope he ate at least he didn't fucking waste that one.
He was sleeping.
But now, so Luke Skywalker, he just starts walking off, and this, man, I'll be honest, I fucking love every little bit of this scene. I really did. He goes walking off up into the hills. He's always walking up and down a hill.
Yeah.
In this whole fucking movie, or floating somewhere. But then we finally get to see for the first time in our generation of an actual Yoda. You know what I mean? Yoda comes as Ghost Yoda, which I'm looking Spirit Yoda. I'm looking at the pop right now on my pop wall. So he's just typical Yoda, man. He just comes in like he never skipped a beat. He's like, yo, he's like, yo, why are you crying like a little bitch, man? Like, you already know what time it is. You know what I mean? He's like, I came to destroy everything the Jedi was, the temple, this, and what does Yoda do? He's like, let me do it for you. And just destroys everything. He's like, why did you do that? The ancient scrolls. He was like, we don't need that shit. Like, you needed that shit. You needed a textbook version. It's like Rey, who is now the future, she already holds and bestows everything that she needs.
Yeah.
As it. So Luke starts talking to him how he failed as a Jedi and failed this and failed that, and Yoda says the best thing ever to him, and I personally I wrote it down and I thought it was actually fucking awesome. He basically told him to get over it. He's like, the greatest teacher in life is failure.
Yeah.
So like, you became a better Jedi, you became a better person because you failed. Now it's how you learn from your failures that really defines you. But he said it in the Yoda way. You know what I mean? It's in tongues and stuff like that. So like, that scene I thought was probably one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
it was just cool to see Yoda again. He still looked old and hairy and fucking chuckling. Like, he literally looked like the Empire Strikes Back Yoda.
Yeah.
Like, he really did, like the Jim Henson puppet himself. So yeah. I thought that whole scene was put together well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. Now, moving on.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now we we're back to Poe, and we're back to the new person, right?
Yeah.
So what Poe does is it goes and explains to her. He's like, all right, well now I got a plan. You don't want to do nothing. I got a plan going. Da da da. And she's like, no, like you fucking went against me. Da da da. Which I also thought this was actually a pretty cool scene. He basically denounced her as leader and held her captive as a traitor, which I thought was fucking cool as shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm trying to. All right, so Finn's coming back, and all of a sudden Rey's there, which this whole scene is all jumbled up and it's fucking weird.
Yeah,
you know what
everyone
I mean?
got there for some reason, and then
it's like all of a sudden everybody's together, and it's just it was actually kind of hard to keep up with it. You know, I was trying to write notes and try to make it legible, but at the same time I didn't even know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So now the plan is to stop the tracker so they can get in. You know what I mean? So as they get in, they realize that they were duped by the hacker, Benicio del Toro. Which Benicio del Toro only did. Here's a fucking cliffhanger. You know, here's a flip of the table. You know what I mean? It's like don't blame me. We were losing, and I just struck a better deal. You didn't give me shit. This is business, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna die for you. And enter Phasm, the first time that we've seen Phasm in this entire fucking movie. So it's like face to face with Finn, F-12187, and all that's happening, and they're trying to get through this door, and Poe's like, get through it, and then all of a sudden blast through the door, it's fucking Princess Leia and that general girl, and they knock Poe the fuck out. So now the plan was, the reason why he was calling her a traitor was, instead of staying and fighting and doing everything, what they were going to do was hop in ejection modules and fly off into space, because the big ships only tracked the big ships, not the small ones. So their idea was to abandon ship. So Poe was doing everything he could to stop that from happening. But now what we find out is that Princess Leia was a part of that plan the entire time, and that was best for them. So she played the role that she needed to do. She knocked out Kylo Ren, and now this is the moment in time where you actually, the Admiral, that girl, Daryl Hannah, this is the part where you actually understand her now. Like, her true colors show out, where she was a bitch throughout the whole movie, and now she's like, all right, I've been selfless this entire time. I've been following what Princess Leia told me to do. You know what I mean? Like, this is the best route. So this was sort of like a moment in time where Poe needed to dial it down a second, and they needed to stop him physically from doing it. You know what I mean? Because Poe was gung ho the entire time.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And what's her face was like, yo, like I'm gonna have to stay behind.
Yeah.
Somebody has to man this ship. I will do it. Get you guys out of here. And then that's when I finally realized, I was like, all right, she's a good person. You know what I mean? Like, there was a whole lore around her when she first came in as commander, and Poe was even like, oh my god, that was her? You know what I mean? From this battle, like, she finally lived up to her reputation, where she basically was sacrificing herself to get everybody away. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, everything, now there's this huge battle scene happening, but at the same time, simultaneously, Rey comes flying onto the fucking ship. Yep. And the first person that's standing outside of the ship is Kylo Ren.
He's like, welcome.
Welcome, you hot piece of ass. Get off of here.
So, this is like the first time they're actually connecting without fighting each other.
Yeah, like they are there on a level plane, because she went there thinking that she can turn him.
Yeah.
And him knowing that this girl can't turn me, I'm going to turn her.
Yeah.
So then we go into this big scene where they both go walking in. And then Rey goes face to face with Snoke.
Yeah, so honestly, I'll say with this part, it was like very like, it was like artsy in a way.
Yeah.
Cause the red walls and the fucking red troopers, and it was just like, it had like the artsy feel, which made me not like this fight scene at all. And then there's also how fast they fucking kill Snoke. He falls for the oldest Jedi trick ever.
Yeah, the rope-a-dope.
Yeah.
What's in my left hand, and then you get hit with the right hand. That's basically what that was.
Yeah, it's like, yo, you fall for the oldest trick ever.
But the thing is now, so Snoke tries to get inside of her head.
Yeah.
Which is easy. Now, you remember in the first movie,
yeah,
Kylo Ren could not do it.
Yeah.
So Snoke is obviously far superior.
Yeah.
So he gets into her head and finds out about Luke, and about where he is, and about Luke's insecurities, and about how Luke doesn't want to be a Jedi, and Snoke's like, oh, we can accommodate him.
Yeah.
We will do that as soon as we're fucking done with this. And then now he's impressed with Kylo Ren. He's like, Kylo Ren, I thank you. You are now ready. You are next to go, you shall further go your training. I can feel and sense the evil inside of you, that you want to kill your enemy right now, and she is right in front of you. So what is going on is that Kylo Ren is projecting his hatred that he has for Snoke and his plans for Snoke, and dialing it in and focusing it on Rey to the point that he doesn't sense that it's about him. Which is crazy if you think about it, because he's reading his mind. So his mind is so focused on killing Rey and doing all this that in reality he's actually thinking about Snoke and doing that. Like, that shows the mind power of Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It shows that his supreme being, because he duped the supreme leader. He duped him, and he was reading his mind. So it's basically he's like passing a lie detector test.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he is doing that. So like that's sort of, I feel you on this scene of how it could be done better and how it got shortchanged with it. But if you really think about it, there's more to it than just the fight scene and how quick they killed him. It was the mind power that he had over Snoke.
Nah.
You know what I mean? But you understand it though?
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
What I'm saying.
I got what you're saying. I still hated the scene.
So what ends up happening is he lines up two lightsabers to the left and right of him, and he's like, "You're right. I have to kill my enemy. I have to." And then he fucking slices Snoke in half.
Yep.
Now, I always had a problem with fucking shit like this. In every fucking movie, in anything, when the bad guy dies, right? All the soldiers around them always fight.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You have no more allegiance to them. You know what I mean? Like, all those people, those beings, fought for Snoke, but Snoke probably fucking threatened the shit out of them.
Maybe he treated them well.
Here's a pig in a blanket.
Maybe the troops that fucking are with him all the time, he treated well. Maybe he actually gave them good food and good money and things like that. Even though, why would they want? Like, what do they do after they go home? Like, do they go home, or if they have a home? We don't know these things. These are the things I want to know about Star Wars. But
that's in any type of thing where like the bad guy dies, right?
Yeah.
And you know he's a fucking scumbag. And you know he treated his people like shit.
But there are bad guys but there are bad guys that are like, look at Dr. Doom. His country loves him. His country will die. His country will go back for him because he treats his country well. He hates everyone else, but he treats his country well. It's similar to that. Like, the boss probably treats the troops well. It's just the fact that he's doing evil shit. It reminds me of there's a fucking Simpsons episode that was Max max power. Like fuck, what was his name? So fucking Homer Simpson gets a job with this evil villain, and Homer notices that he's doing some crazy evil villain shit, like he's trying to kill James Bond, and Homer just tackles him to help him out because he treated him good.
Yeah. No, yeah, I get that, and it's just where does the allegiance stop?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
But then again,
it's like
also,
the Wicked Witch is dead. The Wicked Witch is dead now.
Yeah, but also
everybody. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, but also it goes into the point that a lot of them are born within that rank. So basically,
that's all they know.
That's all they know.
You know what I mean? Which I know the future.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to disclose that.
Yeah.
Which the future does make it more of sense.
Yeah.
But at this moment in time, I'm thinking to myself, you no longer have ties to this fucking man.
Yeah.
But that fight scene, they were back to back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they worked well together. You saw the chemistry together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she even saved his life. But the funny part about it, she thought that she was good. She turned him to the light.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, we got to go save everybody. He's like, and this is what I love about Kylo Ren, and this is what I respect so much about his character, is that he feels so highly about what he is doing that his allegiance he doesn't have allegiance to nobody. He's like, let's kill all the Jedi, let's kill all the First Order, and let's start our own shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's break free from the things that's been holding us back, which I don't blame him for doing that. You know what I mean? It's like, these people have been controlling my mind. You just started doing this. You're going down the route where Jedi, the lore of Jedi, is going to control your shit. How about we just erase that whole fucking thing and make our own world?
Yeah.
We can make it good. Like, what's to say that they don't make something prospering, something amazing, that the whole galaxy can fucking come together and be one? We don't know that. What was so bad about the First Order or the Empire for that? And I've said this in our previous casts. What was so bad about what they were doing, except for their actions of how to get there? What was their end game?
I don't know.
Their end game could have benefited fucking everybody. But we got rebel scum. You know what I mean? Like, people that goes against regular standard forms of order. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like the Revolutionary War. We didn't like what fucking Britain was doing to us, so we rebelled against them and send their asses home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what makes you think that what they had planned wasn't majestic, wasn't prospering, wouldn't, everybody just thrive together? It's like, no, there's more of them being controlled by something, a dictatorship, and they didn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Even though what could have happened was beautiful. Hitler in Germany was a fucking pop icon. They fucking adored this man. But to the rest of the world, he's fucking evil. You know what I mean? So it just shows you the two sides of the coin.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said about Dr. Doom.
Exactly. No, it's literally that. But that's what I like about Kylo Ren. You know what I mean? It's like he felt so strongly about his cause that he used everybody else to get to where he needed to be. Which was dope. Which was cool.
And like, honestly, like, all right, Kylo, I understand you want to rule together and shit like that, but what you'll be ruling by the end of this whole war? The frogs in the water?
the Wookiee world, you know what I mean?
Because y'all pretty much destroying everything, and y'all are like pretty much destroying the life planets and shit like that. So there's no, like, it's like, all right, so what are you gonna rule? The two stormtroopers that survived?
the ashes of the bones of what's before.
All right, let's keep going because this is going kind of long.
Yeah. So, like that admiral woman. So she's in the ship by herself. Everybody's going away. She does one of the dopest things ever, which she sacrifices herself by going into light speed and smashing through the big ship.
Yeah, I forgot the name of that ship. That was like one of the biggest like Star Destroyers that I ever seen.
Yeah, no, it was definitely one of the big ones. I heard it twice in the movie, but I didn't want to keep rewinding because I had a short amount of time to watch it. So, I was stopping and going, writing all my notes and stuff.
Yeah. I forgot
she does such a dope move where she goes on a light speed and blasts through it.
Yeah.
So she sacrificed herself while letting the rebellion.
It's called the Dreadnought.
The Dreadnought. So the rebellion, they go free and they watch this happen. So on the ship itself, we still got Finn, and this is the only moment in time where Finn finally steps up.
Yeah.
He's going up toe to toe against Phasm, you know what I mean? And she whoops his ass, which they have a pretty dope scene. It's a really good fight scene. There's sparks in the background, everything, and she knocks him down into the hole, and she thinks it's done. So she goes to turn over to Rose. And then he hops up this thing that was floating up, and then he smacks her in the fucking head, which opens up her helmet, and you actually sort of get a glimpse of what she looks like. That woman had to have been 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Because Finn is pretty tall himself, and that woman towered the shit over him. So, General Hux sees Kylo laying there. Kylo blames Snoke's death on Rey, and he was like, all right, now I'm the supreme leader. And he was like, I don't listen to you, da-da-da, and he chokes the shit out of him.
Good.
You know what I mean? So, now,
we should.
We get to this planet that's what they were going to. So this planet was a rebellion race back in the day, and it still had, heavily armed areas, so they went down into it, and they ended up getting hunkered in this bunker, basically, where they're trapped. They have no clue where they are. They got these silver creatures, these crystal critters, and the whole First Order is outside the door.
Yeah.
And so what they do, they decide to stand up and fight. So they start fighting. Finn hops in it, Rose hops in it, Poe's in it. Everybody starts fighting. So they pull out this cannon. It's like a smaller version of the cannon that destroys the planets.
Yeah.
So they start trying to burst through the door. So Finn has this bright idea to go be fucking Dennis Quaid in Independence Day. Hey guys, I'm back, kind of thing, where he decides to go and sacrifice himself to go destroy the cannon.
Yeah.
And then Rose swipes him out of the way. So all of a sudden, now they're like, they're looming and dooming. They're like, the only thing that they got is that they're gonna fight for love instead of fighting for a cause, fighting for hate and this and that. Yeah. So all of a sudden, we have, now there's no way out of this cave. All of a sudden, Luke Skywalker appears.
This was a cool scene.
This is actually the first time that he's face to face with Leia.
Yeah.
In years, he sees his sister, holds her hand, kisses her head. You know what I mean? He knows. You know what I mean? He hands her these dice, which I don't know what the dice were. I forget what they were. But he was like, I lost your son, I lost my nephew. She's like, no, he's right outside. You know what I mean? So he goes outside, and this is probably one of the dopest scenes fucking ever. You know what I mean? It really is. It's such a good scene. He stands out there, and Kylo, he's in one of the big ships. He's just like, fucking shoot him. And they unleash just everything they got, and he's just standing there, right? And they think he's dead after a little bit, and then it looks like he's not even touching. He just wipes his shoulder off like a G. So Kylo Ren's like, all right, I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to whoop his ass myself. He's like, what are you going to do? You going to turn me to the other side? He's like, no, I'm not. In my head, I'm like, he came here to whoop your ass, bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they have this little fight scene, and Kylo Ren sort of gets the upper hand at one point, and then you find out that Luke Skywalker wasn't even there the entire time. He projected himself.
Yeah.
So what Kylo Ren and Rey have been doing the entire movie, he just did.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Which I thought was genius. So finally he's using the Force again.
Yeah.
But that took so much out of him that they ended up beating them. I'm trying to fast forward. I know we've been going on, and we usually do this for every cast to speed up the end. But they end up beating him, and then Luke ends up, because he used up so much of his life force to make that happen. He saw his last sunset while he was still on the planet. Now he's galaxies away, and he projected himself there. So he did that, which was really a nice scene. So Rey comes flying in the back into place, and everybody that was inside the caves ran into this, this gaping, this rock wall, there's no way out. And this is where Rey lifts the stone.
Yeah.
She doesn't lift stones. She lifts fucking boulders.
Yep.
Like hundreds of them. And they go running out. You got your first meeting with Poe and Rey. They meet for the first time, and then Rey meets, talks to Leia, and they stated that this is the beginning. This is nowhere near being done. And then they flash to the scene with the kids that they found on the planet that we fast forward to.
Yep.
And it literally ended off with the kids sweeping and looking at the stars.
Yeah.
And he has a ring of the rebellion, which sort of hints of like the ushering of the next generation.
Yep.
Which, if you know the future, it's all fucking bullshit. That whole scene was bullshit. It led you on.
Yeah.
And that is basically The Last Jedi.
That is The Last Jedi. Yeah. There's a lot of hit and miss for me with this movie. But was it better than some of the ones we watched? Yes. Was it worse than a lot of the ones we watched? Yes. So it's like a big mix in between.
It's like a 50-50 of hate and good, you know?
Yeah,
what I mean? Like good and
I think, again, like what we were talking about with Finn, I feel like all his scenes weren't worth it. Like, honestly, there was no character building for him whatsoever. And same thing with Poe. I think Poe lacked character building as well. Like, he had some cool scenes, yes, but there was no character there. There was no building. There was no, like, anything that, like, was going further with him.
I think with Poe, it taught him more how to be a leader, where you don't need to go gung-ho, you need to start using your head a little bit more.
I'll give you that.
You know what I mean? But that's really where that went.
Yeah.
That was that whole Princess Leia thing where they had to knock him out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because you were so gung-ho that if he would have continued, they all would have died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he might not know it at that time, but that's what made him a better general in the future. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you got any specific like highlights? That you like
the highlights again, like the whole the thing I just came out with on this cast with the whole Luke being Yoda, that kind of just kindled me with that area. But that whole thing with Luke Skywalker destroying everybody. Like him coming out, like using his body force and fucking destroying everything. I wanted to like the fight scene with Kylo Ren and Rey a lot more. I just felt it was too artsy and I just didn't care for it. Like, I saw what they were doing in the fight. Like, honestly, if it was in a different circumstances, I probably would have liked that fight scene. I just did not like it. I didn't care for it whatsoever.
Yeah. I feel you. Me personally, I think the highlight was I love seeing Yoda again.
Yeah.
And Yoda basically talking sense into him, but not talking sense into him at the same time. Basically, failure is what we do. Yeah, you mentioned that numerous times in this movie, but failure is what makes you strong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, that seeing him and being the quirky, fucking, dumb, fucking Yoda, because, you would never think this is one of the most powerful beings who ever lived.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You would think of him as just some cornball green little toad.
Yeah.
I loved the connection between Kylo Ren and Rey.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I thought that this movie was more based on that than any other thing in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was that. Princess Leia was there. She was a filler character, which she is a filler character in, A Force Awakens as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are not the focus. They are ushering in the new generation.
Yeah.
Finn had absolutely nothing. I could have lived without. If Finn was not in this movie, I wouldn't even noticed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It would be like about 45 minutes shorter.
I would have been like,
Finn had some long parts, dude. Yeah, his parts were somewhat long. Like, that's what made the movie feel so long. It
drawn
was,
out.
Yeah, it was drawn out for.
There was moments in time where I was fighting to keep my eyes open. Like, I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, that was my highlight. That was like my lows. You know what I mean? If you were to give this a rating, what would you give
2?
it? A 2? Yeah, I give it a 2. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't give it a decimal over. It's a 2.
I'll put this, like, right underneath Clone Wars.
Okay.
Or maybe in that line, it's gonna be Phantom Menace, that or Clone Wars. It's gonna be one of the two. Gonna be the next part.
Yeah, well, it's definitely at the low totem,
Yeah.
which we have continuously have been building up on the higher part.
Yeah.
Throughout the succession.
Yeah.
Of watching these.
Yeah.
It's about time that we had a low.
Yeah, exactly. Like
not every cast needs to be positive. This is truth. This is our truth.
Yeah.
To it. You can agree or disagree, but this is what we saw and how we felt throughout watching this movie.
All right, so the our ranking so far was Empire number 1, New Hope is number 2, Revenge is number 3, Return of the Jedi is number 4, Attack of Clones number 5, and Phantom Menace number 6.
So this would be 6, and Phantom Menace would be 7.
So I didn't add Force Awakens. So I'm gonna put Force Awakens over Revenge of the Sith.
No, I put Revenge of the Sith over Force Awakens. Okay. Yeah, no, Revenge of the Sith, man. The making of Darth Vader, that was just.
I had a lot of issues with that movie though. That was another.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of issues with a lot of the prequels,
Jedi.
But that scene to me is the second greatest scene in Star Wars history to me. So until I started getting into this Mandalorian, which is a whole nother world. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So and then the Last Jedi I put on number 7 is right over Phantom Menace. And
yeah, no, I agree with that. It's definitely bottom 3, no matter what.
Next movie will be The Rise of Skywalker. That will be the final.
Which will be the end of this trilogy.
Of the Disney trilogy. And then we will start watching the spin-offs. So Rogue One and Han Solo will be the next two.
And then we'll also get into the cartoon series of Rebels and
there's so much shit to do.
And Clone Wars, but it keeps this going. You know what I mean?
Mandalorian.
In no way am I in a rush to go and watch Star Trek in any way. Yeah. So
well, we got Mandalorian too. We have not done a review of Mandalorian.
I feel like Mandalorian is going to be episode by episode, bro, because it's just like a movie within 45 minutes.
Yeah. And sometimes half hour. Like sometimes they're really short. Sometimes they're really long. But
shout out to Jon Favreau, man. Keep doing your thing, brother. Keep doing your thing with Star Wars.
He's the leader.
Keep doing your thing with Marvel. He's like the director and the writer of today.
Yeah, he's not doing anything with Marvel now, but he's the lead of.
But he did. He's the whole. He ushered in the Marvel universe to us.
And he's still. You know what I mean? He's still Happy Hogan.
He always will be. But I like what he's doing. I remember watching him in fucking Rudy back in the day. You know what I mean? Where he's that fat guy from Rudy. And I'm watching, and you can go to YouTube right now. He has an actual chef show.
Yeah, chef.
That is chef. That is not based off the movie, but because he did that movie, he goes around to each chef, like different chef places, and learns how to cook their food. And I've been binge watching the hell out of that show. And if you're into like food stuff like that, like me, like I grew up watching like Food Network and stuff like that, is definitely a good watch.
Yeah, I watched the first. I think it's 2 seasons right now.
Yeah, I watched. I'm like halfway through the second season.
Yeah, it's called Chef.
Yeah, it's so good. So you check that out. Keep supporting him because I'm liking everything that man is doing.
Yep. And now he's the lead of Star Wars. So he's the pretty much the Kevin Feige of Star Wars.
Yeah, so that was the best move that Disney made.
Yeah,
in recent
I think so. After the successful things of Mandalorian right now, that's the best move they've done. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. This is the Not a Trekkie Podcast. You can follow us on all social medias. We're on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram,
Spotify.
Instagram. YouTube, Spotify, Twitch TV, all Mark with the Mic and Red Cyclone Inc. Follow the WordPress that has all our links and all below, and also screenshots and everything of what we do. Follow us on Spotify. Just make sure you follow that because that's actually doing really good, and keep it up going. And also SoundCloud, Mark with the Mic. You actually get the raw cuts on YouTube now, and it'll be up there now too. So check that all out.
Check all of our other casts.
Yeah.
Of Shell Shock, Games Rage, Not a Trekkie, of course. Wrestling Babble, Red Cyclone Inc.
The It Gets Better I Swear podcast, and
It Gets Better I Swear podcast, and also the Morphin Cast.
Yep. We have new episodes of the Morphin Cast. Was up last week for Mirror Sentai Time Ranger, so definitely check that one out.
Always a big shout out to Game On, a retro video game store based out on Long Island. 2 locations, one in Smithtown, the other one in Miller Place. Supplying all your retro video game needs from Atari 2600 to PlayStation 3, even some of the nowadays stuff. You can go in there, you can just play some video games. They got arcades, everything's free. Go in there and just shoot the shit with my man Tristan. Tell him that I sent you. Shout out to my boy Mind of an Artist. You can follow him out on Instagram. He just created his own personal clothing line called Drugs and Demons, so go and check that out. He's doing a lot of good stuff. Shout out to my boy To The Max. Shout out to my boy the Drunken Yeti. You can check him out on Twitch. I forget his name. It's Drunken Yeti.
It's like Yeti time now. Something
Yeti
like
time now. Follow your girl's Twitch.
Yeah, follow Emperor Chariot. She's always on there. She'll probably be on there tonight with Last of Us Part 2. And
awesome.
You forgot your friend that got you.
That's always how I end this off. Yeah. I would not know the world that I know if it wasn't for my close friend Michael Silverman, aka Mike Wazowski. If it wasn't for him, I would not care about this world. I did not grow up liking Star Wars. It took me until I was about 21. This guy sort of forced me to watch it, and I never looked back. Yeah. Always a shouts out to him. He is my Obi-Wan to this earned Jedi Master.
Right.
Always a shout out to my brother as well, who has been my rider throughout the process. We always watch every year, every single Star Wars movie, maybe twice a year. Always a shouts out to him. Yeah.
All right. So peace out, laters, and always remember,
follow the Jankies.
Follow the Jankies with a lightsaber. Cut them down.
Exactly.
I don't care. Anyway, and fuck Zordon. Yeah, Star Wars. We don't hate Zordon. We just want to make sure you know we hate Zordon.
Listen, cross platforms. Yeah. Fuck Zordon.
Yeah.